This is Damon Melcho with X-Treme Bait Tanks. Today I've had the opportunity to get back on Lake Okeechobee doing some live bait bass fishing with Steve Daniel, better known as Hooked Up with Steve and Deb. Did I do it right?
You did it right.
Very good. I have a tendency to butcher his last name, and it's no reason to do it. But hey, Steve, so great day on the lake. I know every time I come down here, I bring you this beautiful weather.
Rain or cold or something, you know, you're just a jinx. We caught fish though.
We did.
Yeah.
Hey, so tell us about what we experienced today on the lake, because I mean, to me, we caught some very nice bass. You got some great bait. We're going to talk a little bit about the tank and the bait and how that works for you.
Well, it's all about having good bait, and that's the thing. You know, even if you have good bait, you have to be able to take care of them. And with this tank right here, nothing better. Cause I've got the little 12-gallon.
Right.
That I carry in the back of my truck. I can go up, like this morning, I got up, went all the way to Lakeport, 30-minute drive up there, got 8-10 dozen shiners, brought them back, put half of them in here, half of them in my boat. And that makes it where I can actually fish 2 or 3 days. If I got a trip, you know, for the 2 or 3 days in a row, I don't have to run back and forth. I'm not gonna fish just any bait. I've got to have good bait. And once I put them in here, I know they're gonna be, actually, they're happier in here than they are anywhere else.
I know we met almost 2 years ago at ICAST,
Yep.
and that's when we decided that a 12-gallon bait tank would be get you started off with, and you were able to use that to transport and that kind of thing. And then we started talking about long-term bait storage, because you said one of the problems that you have, and not just you, I think anyone that fishes Lake Okeechobee, you don't know if you're going to get bait or not.
That's right.
And this was going to be the solution for you, because you guide,
Yep.
right? And you wanted to be able to know that you got access to your bait. So this is becoming very popular, not just in Florida, but throughout many states actually, where people are buying these larger tanks, and instead of the 12-volt systems, we put the 110s in there, so you can just plug them right into your wall. They still circulate, filter, and oxygenate just like they would on a 12-volt system, only 110.
Yeah. Now this tank here has 3 110 pumps.
Yes,
on
sir.
it. I usually just run one of them. It's plenty, but I run 3 if I want to really clean the water. Because a lot of people don't understand, this is not just a bait tank. This is a bait tank that filters the water. Big difference.
Right. And having those 3 pumps, and with those directional flows, you're able to adjust the direction of those flows. And we do that by design. So, because I'm a firm believer, your bait, you've got to know your bait.
Yeah.
And when I say bait, the region of your bait, which is obvious, but the size of the bait, the quantity of the bait, do they like a lot of current? Do they just want water turnover? So you can do that in this tank based on what you feel your bait needs. You know, and we'd also talked today on the lake about what do you add to your water. Now you're not using tap water, you're using well water.
Well water.
Yeah, and you're adding salt to it,
Add a little salt.
and that's it.
That's all.
So, you know, again, that's what the bait likes. It makes them comfortable, helps that gel coat or that slime coat on them. But yeah, I'm really happy to see the tank in action. Glad it's meeting your needs. I know we've been making stops throughout Florida, and this is the visit. We're going to make another one up in Jacksonville, and they got this thing plumbed onto their dock.
Yeah.
I'm still learning all the different saltwater baits, but he says it meets and exceeds his expectations. So.
Yeah. Well, the wild shiners, we don't need the current flow that they do for some other type baits. But one pump creates just enough current flowing around where it balls the shiners up. It keeps them real happy. And but a lot of different baits need a lot more current. So, like I say, there's a lot of different kinds of bait that this tank actually
Right,
works
and
with.
when we opened it up, one of the things I noticed, it looked like they were just staying stationary, but they're actually swimming.
Yeah.
They're getting enough current, and what that does, in our opinion, is it gives them something to do. They're not banging up into each other, and since there's no corners in the tank, it's a round tank, it helps them keep from getting red nose.
They're happier. They're not wanting to jump out, bumping into the top of it like they do on a lot of tanks. And the view of this is, like, these shiners were just caught yesterday. And a lot of times when you put fresh shiners in here, now they're gonna mess all your water up. You get a lot of debris in there.
Right.
And then you can see this water here is gin clear because it filters water. Now I'm gonna have to clean those bags out.
Right.
But what this does, all that water flows to the other side. It goes through the filters. Now the pump's actually pumping completely fresh, clean water back in and oxygenating it. And that's why this tank is different than anything else out there.
Very good. Well, Steve, as always, I appreciate you, appreciate getting to know you, your friendship, having the opportunity to come down here and seeing these tanks in action. So thank you very much for that.
Oh,
I
pleasure.
appreciate it more than you know. Tell us a little bit about your charter.
Well, it's I've been guiding here for 35 years. And
Okay.
you know, we spoilt people over the years. You know, when you go to a lot of the marinas now, they fish these little domestic shiners, and they call it shiner fishing. That's not shiner fishing. What we did back in the mid 80s, Roland Martin brought actually shiner fishing to Lake Okeechobee. They didn't do very much of it until he came here. But we did it with the big shiners, I mean real shiner fishing. And it's kind of a good little story. I fished with a kid from Lake Lanier. He was in a bass club up there in Atlanta, Georgia. And I was booked the day before, and they booked me for one day, but they were here the day before, and I didn't know, but they went with another guide, and they had these little domestic shiners. And they said, we did pretty good. We caught a 4-pounder. I said, well, that's good. But when I pulled that first shiner out and put him on, they said, this is not what we did yesterday. I said, well, this is real shiner fishing. And I've got some good pictures. He caught a 9.5 and a 10.5.
Wow.
And that you wouldn't have never caught him on that little bitty bait.
Gotcha.
But even then, you just got to have a good bait. You got to take care of it, and you let the lake give you what it wants to. You never know what you're going to get till you get out there. You just go fish hard. Because like I told you this morning, there's no reason that we shouldn't catch a big. Because when you got as much good bait as we had this morning,
Right.
You're going to catch some fish. I don't care what the weather does.
Yeah, yeah. So I know Lake Okeechobee is a bucket list destination for a lot of people.
It is.
And I've been with you enough times to know that if you are ever looking to fulfill that dream of coming to Lake Okeechobee and you want a guide, give Steve a call. His information's on Facebook. You've got your website, and I'll make sure it's on this post as well. You will not be disappointed. So if you're going to do it right. You're going to do it with Steve. Anything else we'll share? We're good?
That's good. We're
All
good.
right. Well, we're going to leave, so maybe the sun will come back for you. If you have any questions about products, prices, or sizing, feel free to visit our website at extremebaitanks.com. And until then, we hope you have an extreme day.